the short answer is that the three-letter agencies don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They are government institutions sworn to serve a branch of government. So just like you're a fucking private, you're going to do whatever you're told.
Yeah.
Right? When you're part of FBI or CIA, they are told what to do by the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
CIA, and that's the judicial branch.
Yeah.
CIA is told what to do by the executive branch. That's just who we serve. That is the hierarchy of the government that we belong to. And I think more than anything, what we're discovering is that the weaponization by politicians shows us that we're hiring the wrong fucking politicians.
Yeah.
You got the book right here, right? Unfuck America. We're hiring the wrong people. We are electing the wrong people into office. We're letting the wrong people stay in office. We're letting the wrong people elevate to the opportunity to become in office. So the weaponization isn't a broken process for hierarchy. It's a broken process for what we, the people, let have the opportunity to abuse a working process.
Yeah. So, John, I'll clarify. I agree. Why not do? And is there an element, maybe as a follow-up to his question, that that there's a mistake in some of the hires if they're willing to do that? I mean, like, kind of in that morality, personal constitution, like, where's that red line of what you're willing to do to your own citizens? You clearly, that was your red line. Like, I'm not going to fuck with Americans who are in the right.
So it's not that there's a problem in the hiring, because people will always say they're red lines. The thing is, if you have a red line, there's 15 other people behind you that are waiting for their chance at bat.
Yeah.
So when you're like, I'm not going to do this, they're like, that's fine, you're gone. Next person, will you do this?
Yeah.
No, you're gone. Next person. And that's how you end up having Gina Haspel, former CIA director. How did she fucking get to the senior director sheet? Or how did she become the director of CIA? Because when she was told to destroy evidence about torture in Guantanamo Bay, you know what she said? Yes, sir. And she destroyed evidence about Guantanamo Bay. And then she became the director of CIA. Like, that is the institution.
Yeah.
And when you become that senior, remember how we talked about, the people who have talent, the people who have an opportunity leave. It's the people who don't have an opportunity. It's people who don't have anything else that they can do except graduate through this process of yes sirmanship.
Yeah.
Those are the people who make it to the top.
Yeah. He also asks, if they're going to push forward with a certain agenda and we can't vote them out, what is the alternative to firing our politicians? Getting some trees of liberty being watered by the blood of tyrants talk here in a second.
Right. So, I mean, the thing is, anybody who thinks that revolution is easier than voting, you're wrong. Like, we have to accept that our democracy and all working democracies are slow moving. They're slow moving until the moment of action comes. So you have to accept the slowness. That's part of why that's why it works the way it works. If you wanted this to be a fast moving democracy, it would become an autocracy. Period.
We're technically a constitutional republic, right? Well, I read a really fascinating book here recently called The First Principles, which goes really in depth of the first four presidents and kind of the influence of the Greeks and the Romans and the difference in it. And it's almost it's striking. I won't say it's scary. Of the liberal Democrat Greek influence and the Roman influence on Republican and conservative, type of viewpoints and how they really kind of balance each other and what have you. But, to me, that's a hugely important distinction, though, that I think a lot of people either mischaracterize or just miss in general is the difference between those two. But I don't disagree. I think fixing it is way easier than
breaking it,
than trying to completely restart it, because the foundation of it is incredibly brilliant and sound. It's like if we could just get back to the first fucking principles, it's very salvageable. It's just, I think most people find themselves wondering, how the fuck do we do that?
I mean, we have to start by doing it every day, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't start by who you vote into the big office. It starts by who you vote into your county office. Who do you vote for mayor? Who do you vote for governor? Who do you vote for Senate? Who do you vote for Congress?
Yeah.
Like, who do you vote for Supreme Court? Who do you vote for local court? Who do you vote for sheriff?
Yeah.
Like, that's where it starts. Because especially in our current environment of professional politics, the only way somebody, I mean, depending on how this turns out, depending on how this election turns out, This is the first time in a long time we've had somebody who's on the ticket who has never earned the American vote to be on the ticket.
Yeah.
So we could have a complete change. Maybe professional politics wins out and we now have a president who has never earned a vote before president.
Yeah.
We don't know. But.
It's frightening. And the bitch of it for me is that what they're doing is, at least from everything that I've researched, is technically not illegal.
Right.
In that it's a DNC orchestrated rule that they're breaking, but they're fine breaking it. Like their statutes say what they're doing you can't do, but they're doing it. So they just don't give a fuck, it's frightening.
Well, it's also showing us that, what has happened is we have let ourselves vary from voting for people to now voting for parties.
Yeah.
And we were always supposed to vote for people.
Yeah.